Hello and happy Friday. How is it going for you? I hope you're having a wonderful day, a great evening, a great morning. It depends on which side of the world you are in right now. I am in Romania, in Timișoara, and I could not be happier and more excited to have our third live session today. Oh my gosh, time really flies so fast. And it is going to be about fear and panic. I am very eager to get your input on this because we are going through some very interesting times, to say the least. And I have had a lot of thoughts during all this time, and it is especially that I have made some very important life changes this year during the pandemic, even when before it all happened, I did again some big changes, and I'm still doing a lot of changes during these times. And I cannot help but think that if I were not focused on solutions, I would be struggling right now. So I want to know your input. I want to know, how is your life going right now? What are your plans? How is this virus affecting your life? What do you consider doing in the future? And are you focused on solutions, or are you still on the side of the victim, on the cause of, on the side of the effect instead of on the side of the cause? Because I have done some posts even today where I had a long chat with myself about how important it is to work on your interior world. Yes, Dad, Isa is also watching the live session, unless she is asleep right now with Sorin. My dad is asking me if Isa is watching my live session. Well, she cannot help but watch it and also comment, but when she's older, when she learns to speak English as well. So, how is your life going for you? Are you trying to find the best way to deal with everything that's happening right now? Or are you waiting for things to happen? Are you waiting for things to change even more? Now, I kindly suggest and recommend you stay until the end of our talk, because I will show you a very simple way on how to focus on solutions only, how to work on your inner self instead of waiting for something from the outside to happen. Nothing changes unless you change first, unless you change how you see the world. And it's very interesting that it is said that you cannot see anything outside than what you can see inside of you. So it means that each and every one of us has their own special and specific inner world, and that is all that we see, nothing else. And this makes you wonder, is this really happening? Then if I see a certain thing happening, it means that it may only be like this for myself, and in fact the other person that's next to me can see things completely different. And that's why during this world pandemic we've had billionaires going towards trillionaires, and we've had poor people going towards being even more poor. Why is this? What is the matter when we are all living in the same world? We have the same means. We can do the same thing that a billionaire does in 24 hours, because we all have the same amount of time, but still something is not right, something is missing. And I believe that it is the mindset that we need to work on. What do you think? Do you think that we should work on ourselves more? Or maybe wait until something else happens from the exterior? Now, let me tell you my story until you maybe have some comments, have some questions. I would love it if you would interact with me as much as possible, because I would love to start knowing you more, learning from you as well, because this is the scope, this is the purpose of this group, to create a strong community of like-minded people where we can share our thoughts and find the best solutions with any specific or non-specific issue related to negative emotions and especially to fear. In January, I want to start with my story, with my own personal story for this year, for 2020, that has inspired me to have this title for today's talk: Fear and Panic. In January, mid-January, I came back from Belgium because I was living there for almost 2 years and I wanted to do some checkups because I wasn't feeling too great. And I came back here in Timișoara. It was a very nice winter. We had everything frosted. It was such an amazing, dreamy scenario, and I only hoped that all of my medicine, all of my medical tests would be okay. I went to the doctors and boom, I found out I was pregnant. Instead of happy, happy, joy, joy, it was fear, fear, panic, panic, because I did not expect this at all. I wanted a child, but maybe next year. Last year I was talking that I would love a child this year, but I had just begun my business as a transformational speaker and an NLP trainer, and I wanted to work more. I wanted to create my brand. I wanted to do my marketing and make it go international, and I had huge plans. I still do. And in 30 minutes after I recovered after the initial shock, because as I told you, I wanted a child, but not this year, not at all, maybe next year, and maybe I would have postponed having having my child for quite a bit until I had my personal brand international and out there. And in 30 minutes I had to reschedule my life completely. My fiancé and I, who's now my husband, we took the decision to move from Belgium to come back to Romania because I wanted to have all my tests and have all of the investigations done and all of the medical routines, and I could not travel with a plane too much because my pregnancy was far advanced, and this was happening when in China, COVID, the virus that's now a pandemic, was pretty strong there in China, but I honestly did not think it would come here in Europe. This was only something extraordinary and in my mind did not make any sense. So I came back to Romania and my fiancé was there in Belgium still, and all of a sudden we have had COVID cases here in Europe and everyone was freaking out. It was outrageous. It was something new. It was really scary because no one had thought that we could have this happening in 2020 when the technology and everything is so advanced. And gosh, you know, you hear about a virus and the last thing you would think is that it would spread so strong and so much throughout the whole world. And I actually came back here in Romania maybe a week before things began to be a bit out of control in the major countries of Europe. Then my fiance was back. We had the baby shower for my baby girl Isabel. Then we had a miniature wedding. Everything was miniature because we did not have time to prepare too much, and there were strong, solid signs of COVID coming towards Romania as well. And we moved to my parents. Then, before the big crisis hit in Romania, when everything got locked down, we got to move in a rent here in Timișoara. We had our baby girl during the pandemic. I gave birth with a mask on my face. How crazy and how outrageous was that? I was lucky enough to have so much NLP on my side, so many courses, I've read so many books, I've attended to a lot of seminars, and I could focus on solutions as much as possible. I would still have situations when my mind would be, oh my God, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? I had other plans. How is this virus going to affect me, my baby, my family, everyone around me? And luckily, I began to focus on solutions only and see the best of these circumstances. See what I can do with the resources I had handy right then and there before I could take any major decisions. Because when you take decisions and you are scared, when you let fear guide you and you are so afraid, the chances are that you will not have the results that you had wanted. I know a change is good. I am of the opinion that making a change can only be for the better, because if you stay the same, you simply stop growing, which is far worse than dying. Dying in terms of not evolving. We as human beings, and this is something that I guide my life around, are meant to continually evolve, to test everything there is out there, to know how things work in all domains of our life, to be on top of everything that's happening, to be curious, to love, to explore, to enjoy life, because it is an amazing gift. We are live and we are alive, which is such a blessing, right? This is something that we should be grateful for. We should at least be grateful that we are breathing. And as you make a change, you are doing something new. You are moving towards something you want. But what happens when you are moving towards something that you don't want? When you find yourself being controlled by fear and by panic, because you realize that it wasn't you that took that decision, it was your fear, it was your panic feeling that got you to where you are. Looking back, I sometimes do this, although I'm still not sure, and I want to get your input on this. I'm still not sure whether it is a good thing to look back and analyze your former decisions. Maybe it's a great thing, because if you are in a state of peace and happiness with yourself, then you know what you did may be different and you are not going to do the same thing again. So it is a good thing to maybe have your eyes look back a bit, but do this every time you have a great state of mind. When you feel that you are in a state of calm and peace, it's great to look back and simply check whether you would have done things different or not, whether you would have made a different decision, and analyze. Make sure you check this. Analyze if you had any doubts, any fears, any panic feelings, because panic is as strong as anxiety as I see it. And let me know what you find. I'm very curious to see if you let fear creep in and take the decisions for you. Now, how I began and how I'm still continuing to deal with all of the changes in my life, because we are going to move in a few weeks in another place. We got an apartment and hopefully we can settle for a while, because I need this, especially during these times. How I do this to keep my mind straight and still focus on my business as much as possible with a 5-month, almost 6-month baby girl that's very active, with a lot of changes and with everything outside not looking the same the next day, because we are having a continual increase in the cases of COVID here in Romania. I'm not sure where you are exactly, but I believe that this is happening all over the world. How do I focus is to simply remind myself this. What would I do if I had no excuses? I'm going to repeat this. What would I do if I had no excuses? Turn your excuses into reasons. Something amazing is going to happen with your mind, with your brain. You are going to see things different. If you check the biography in all of my videos, I put there, see fear from a different perspective. You cannot let go of fear. It's not like you let go of an object you no longer need. You take a glass, you put it there, it's done. No, because it is part of our design as human beings, because fear has its benefits as well. Now, if you think of all the excuses you may have, I don't have time, money, I'm not in the mood, I am procrastinating a lot, I don't think I can do it, I'm afraid, I am not good enough, I'm not worthy, I am too tired, I'm too lazy. Why not? We have tons of excuses whether we want to do something, when we want to do something. Your mind is going to simply pat you on the back and say, okay, you have this. Now, how can we work around this? How can we shift the perspective and get you to do the things that you want, although the situation is as it is? Do you have a baby and you don't have time? Do it for the baby. Are you lazy and don't feel like getting up? Do it because you are lazy and you don't feel like getting up. Simply do it because you have to move from where you are. Your mind, when you focus on how, is going to offer you the solutions. Simply take a few seconds to yourself each morning and have some time alone, which is wonderful when you wake up. Read some affirmations, write what you are grateful about. This is something that I do for a while, and it is transforming my life for the better, step by step, because we did not grow in a culture of gratefulness. We do not know how to focus on the positive side of things. And it's not the positive like Tony Robbins says, you have your yard full of weeds and you are going to simply chant to yourself, there are no weeds, there are no weeds, there are no weeds. No, the weeds are still there. You need to take action. But if you say to yourself, there are no weeds in my garden because I'm going to start right now to remove them, now that is going to have some amazing results for you. So what do you think? What is your opinion on this? How do you deal with fear and panic, or how have you dealt in the past with these strong emotions before they start to ruin your decisions, before they start to make the decisions for you? What I have noticed with fear is that it has this amazing pattern, it has this amazing way of creeping in your mindset, creeping in your decision making strategy, and you are not even aware it happened. It is some sort of a magic trick that it does. That is why I really consider it to be at the bottom of all our negative emotions and patterns and limiting beliefs, because at a certain point something happened. Something was done to you from the outside world, and even worse, you have done it to yourself. A small little thought, an idea that you cannot do this, you cannot do a certain thing, that you are maybe not worthy, that it's not right for you. You wanted to do a live video and someone said, you don't really look that good with your hair, or maybe you should change this and that and do something a bit different. And all of a sudden you get yourself wondering, oh my god, do I really want to do this? I just need to work more on who I am, on my image, and so on. And I'm telling you this from my own experience, because I have myself postponed things a lot. And you cannot even imagine how impactful fear is without even you knowing. It is amazing. If it happened with our positive emotions, wouldn't this be wonderful? Because I believe that once you discover, once you figure out that you have had a certain fear, then you are halfway through the battle with it. You only need to start asking yourself some question. What am I going to do next? What is the result that I want to go towards? How is my life going to look in the future? Because there's this great saying that I really enjoy. Future is something that you create. The future is in your hands completely. Saying that you are going to wait for things to happen, it is one of the biggest conscious mistakes that we can take, because when we do this, we lose personal control, we lose our self-esteem, we lose who we are. Being authentic to ourselves is such a major breakthrough. I'm still working on this, but I am so thankful that I have come a long way with my fears. I still have tons of them to step on, but as I continue on this path, I am for sure going to achieve my results, and I sincerely want this to happen to you as well. You only need to take the first step. You may have avalanches of doubt, second doubt, limiting beliefs, all sorts of fears that come in all shapes and sizes. And before you begin to actually admit to yourself that, hey, I have fear of flying, it may take a lot of questions and inner work, because you are going to be amazed on how many other emotions are stacked on the same fear, on the same feeling of fear that you originally have. So focus on this how word. How is magical. Let's do a short recap about our talk for today, and it is: what would you do if your excuses were no longer there? What would I do if I had no excuses? Turn your excuses into reasons. Your mind is going to go crazy. Oh my god, I have 5 minutes. I can write an article. I have 1 minute. I can do a small share on social media. I have another 10 minutes. Wow, I can do some changes on my website. It's simply amazing how your life is going to change for the better when you focus on reasons instead of excuses. I'm going to say this one more time. Focus on reasons, except excuses, instead of finding all sorts of unreal fears that are going to keep you where you are. And we do not want you to stay there. We need you to move and to do a lot of new things in order to evolve, to grow, and to get to be the person that you want, to get the results that you want. Another recap is focus on the word how, on this very simple question. How? How am I going to do this? How are things going to be for me? How can I move although I have no idea where to go? How is everything going to be for me in the future? How is my family going to react? Simply focus on how, set your intentions, set a purpose, do some objectives, some miniature objectives that can save your mind from going in the lane of fear. I want you to let me know your thoughts on this. I am very curious to see how you deal with fear and panic during these times, and if you had any major breakthroughs in your life this year. I cannot wait to know more of what's happening to you and maybe talk with you about this. I would love it if you would check my website roxanapopet.com, where I have this wonderful great gift for you, and it's a 7-step guide. The 7-step guide to permanently conquer your fears, that has this amazing, and I'm not being modest here at all, it has this amazing visualizing bag exercise where I am guiding you on how to step on your fears, how to unblock your mind, how to have a free mind and get your personal power back in your hands. I want you to use it. Download it now. It's so easy to download. Simply go on my website roxanapopet.com and have it from there. I look forward to seeing you next week in another live session here in the Step on Your Fears group. Let me know if you have any ideas about a certain topic you would like us to talk about, or you have any questions you'd like me to answer. I'm here to support you in this group, so I cannot wait to see your thoughts about this topic and any other fear-related subject. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I cannot wait to see you next week. And remember, step on your fears. Why not? Have a great evening, everyone, or a great day or a great morning ahead. I will see you soon. Bye, and thank you.